Ladies and gentlemen, before 2027 begins, I want you to do something very unusual. I want you to stop thinking about next year for just a moment and think about your life, not your schedule, not your bills, not your problems, your life. Because one day, whether you are ready or not, there will come a moment when you look back and ask yourself a question that is more powerful than any question you've ever been asked before. Did I become the person I was capable of becoming? Think about that. Not the person your family expected, not the person society wanted, not the person circumstances forced you to be. The person you were capable of becoming. And let me tell you something, that question is coming for every single one of us. Some people will answer it with pride. Some people will answer it with regret. And the difference between those two answers is what you do between today and the day 2027 begins. I learned something years ago that changed the way I looked at success forever. Success is not a miracle. Success is not luck. Success is not something reserved for a chosen few. Success is simply the natural result of a few disciplines practiced every day. Failure is also predictable. Failure is simply a few errors in judgment repeated every day. The challenge is that both success and failure are invisible while they're happening. A man eats one unhealthy meal. Nothing happens. He skips one workout. Nothing happens. He wastes one evening. Nothing happens. He procrastinates one day. Nothing happens. And because nothing happens, he believes nothing matters. But life is keeping score. Life is always keeping score. The same is true for success. You read 10 pages today. Nothing happens. You save a little money. Nothing happens. You wake up early. Nothing happens. You learn a new skill. Nothing happens. But life is keeping score. And one day the bill arrives. One day the results appear. One day people call you lucky. One day people ask how you did it. One day people think it happened overnight, but you know the truth. You know it happened one day at a time, one choice at a time, one discipline at a time. Here's what most people don't understand. The future is not created in the future. The future is created today. The person you become in 2027 is being built right now, this very week, this very day, this very hour. Think about this for a moment. Imagine two people standing in exactly the same place today, same age, same income, same challenges, same fears, same opportunities. One person decides to improve by 1% every day. The other decides to wait. 1 year later, their lives look different. 2 years later, the gap grows wider. 5 years later, they barely recognize each other. Not because one had more talent, not because one had better connections, but because one understood the power of small daily improvements, and the other underestimated them. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for motivation. They say, when I feel motivated, I'll start. No, that's backwards. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who dreamed of changing his life. Every year he made resolutions. Every year he promised himself things would be different. Every year he imagined a better future. And every year nothing changed. One day he met an older mentor. The mentor asked him a simple question. How long have you wanted a better life? The man said, 10 years. The mentor smiled sadly. Then your problem isn't desire. Your problem is decision. That hit him like lightning because wanting is easy. Everybody wants more money. Everybody wants better health. Everybody wants happiness. Everybody wants success. The question is not what you want. The question is what you are willing to become. Because every dream has a price. Every achievement has a cost. Every transformation requires sacrifice. And the tragedy is not that the price is too high. The tragedy is that most people spend their lives paying the price for staying the same. They pay with regret. They pay with missed opportunities. They pay with unrealized potential. They pay with years they'll never get back. Pain is inevitable, but there are two kinds of pain, the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. The workout hurts, but regret hurts more. The study session hurts, but regret hurts more. The sacrifice hurts, but regret hurts more. Years from now, you will not cry because you worked hard. You will cry because you knew what you should have done and didn't do it. And I don't want that for you. I want you to understand something extraordinary. You are far more powerful than you've been led to believe. Far more capable than you currently realize. Most people are living at a fraction of their potential. They've accepted limits that aren't real. They've accepted stories that aren't true. They've accepted identities that no longer serve them. Somebody told them they weren't smart enough, so they stopped learning. Somebody told them they weren't talented enough, so they stopped trying. Somebody told them success wasn't for people like them, so they stopped believing. But let me ask you something. Who decided what you are capable of? Who measured your future? Who calculated your potential? Who looked into tomorrow and declared your limits? Nobody, because nobody can. Your future has not been written yet. Your story is still being written, and every day you hold the pen. I remember hearing about a man who worked a job he hated for years. Every morning he woke up exhausted. Every evening he came home frustrated. He kept telling himself that someday things would change. Someday. Then one morning he realized something terrifying. Someday is not a day of the week. Someday is where dreams go to die. Someday is the favorite word of average people. Successful people don't live in someday. They live in today. They take action today. They learn today. They improve today. They begin today because they understand a powerful truth. The perfect time never arrives. Conditions are never perfect. The stars never magically align. You start before you're ready. You start while you're scared. You start while you're uncertain. You start you're imperfect. Because movement creates clarity. Action creates confidence. Progress creates belief. And every time you keep a promise to yourself, something incredible happens. You begin to trust yourself again. That's what confidence really is. Confidence is not shouting affirmations into a mirror. Confidence is evidence. Confidence is proving to yourself that you can depend on yourself when you say you'll wake up early and you do it. Confidence grows when you say you'll study and you do it. Confidence grows when you say you'll exercise and you do it. Confidence grows when you say you'll keep going and you do it. Confidence grows little by little, day by day, by promise, until one day you walk differently, think differently, speak differently because you've become a different person. And that transformation doesn't happen in giant dramatic moments. It happens quietly. It happens when nobody is watching. It happens in ordinary days. The world celebrates championships, but championships are won in empty gyms. The world celebrates successful businesses, but businesses are built during lonely nights. The world celebrates greatness, but greatness is created in private long before it appears in public. And that's why these next months before 2027 are so important. Because while everyone else is waiting for a new year to change, you can begin changing before the calendar gives you permission. You can become stronger before 2027, smarter before 2027, more disciplined before 2027, more focused before 2027, more confident before 2027, more valuable before 2027. And when everyone else is making resolutions, you'll already be living them. And that is a completely different game. Think about this for a moment. Most people treat a new year like a magic event. They think the calendar changes and somehow their habits will change. Their mindset will change. Their discipline will change. Their future will change. But the truth is, the calendar doesn't change people. People change people. Decisions change people. Habits change people. Character changes people. A new year doesn't create a new life. A new you creates a new life. And that realization is powerful because it means your future is not trapped inside circumstances. It's trapped inside decisions. Let me tell you something I learned years ago. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. Average people ask, Why is life so hard? Successful people ask, what is this challenge trying to teach me? Average people ask, why does this always happen to me? Successful people ask, how can I use this experience to become stronger? Average people ask, when will things get better? Successful people ask, what can I do today to make things better? The question changes everything because questions control focus, and focus controls direction, and direction determines destiny. Imagine driving a car. Wherever you look, you naturally steer. Life works the same way. Focus on problems and you'll find more problems. Focus on excuses and you'll find more excuses. Focus on possibilities and suddenly opportunities begin appearing everywhere. Not because they weren't there before, because now you're finally looking. Here's what most people don't understand. Success leaves clues. Failure leaves clues too. If someone is healthy, disciplined, energetic, and fulfilled, there are clues. If someone is broke, frustrated, negative, and stuck, there are clues. The clues are usually hidden in daily habits. The things people do repeatedly, not occasionally, repeatedly, because your future is hiding inside your routine. Think about that. Your future is hiding inside your routine, not your wishes, not your intentions, not your goals written on paper. Your routine, what you repeatedly do, is shaping who you repeatedly become. That's why ordinary days matter so much. An ordinary Tuesday matters. An ordinary Wednesday matters. A random morning matters. Because life is not built on extraordinary days. Life is built on ordinary days repeated thousands of times. I once heard about a stone cutter. Every day he struck a massive rock with a hammer. 1 strike, 2 strikes, 10 strikes, 100 strikes. Nothing happened. The rock appeared unchanged. Then suddenly, after another strike, the rock split completely in half. Now tell me, which strike broke the rock? The last one? Of course not. It was every strike, every unseen strike, every ignored strike, every strike that looked like it wasn't working. Success works exactly the same way. People quit too early because they don't see immediate results. They save money for a month and stop. They exercise for a few weeks and stop. They study for a short period and stop. They work on a dream and stop because they haven't seen the breakthrough yet. What they don't realize is that breakthroughs are usually invisible until they're obvious. The roots grow before the tree appears. The foundation is built before the building rises. Growth happens beneath the surface long before anyone notices. And that's why patience is so powerful. Not passive patience, active patience. The patience to keep doing the right thing even when the reward hasn't arrived yet. The patience to trust the process. The patience to keep showing up day after day, week after week, month after month. Because eventually, consistency creates miracles. I remember meeting a man who transformed his entire life. When people saw him years later, they thought he had discovered some secret, some shortcut, some magical strategy. But when he explained what happened, his answer surprised everyone. He said, I just stopped quitting. That's it. No magic, no miracle, no secret formula. He simply stayed in the game longer than most people. And that is one of the greatest lessons you'll ever learn. You do not have to be the smartest person. You do not have to be the most talented person. You do not have to be the most connected person. But if you can stay committed while others quit, if you can stay disciplined while others drift, if you can stay focused while others become distracted, you place yourself in a position where extraordinary things begin to happen because time rewards consistency. Think about a river. A river doesn't cut through rock because it's powerful. A river cuts through rock because it's persistent. And persistence is a force most people underestimate, not because it's flashy, because it's quiet. Nobody applauds persistence in the beginning. Nobody notices consistency in the beginning. Nobody celebrates discipline in the beginning. But eventually, the results become impossible to ignore. And that's where so many people make a mistake. They become addicted to comfort. Now, comfort isn't bad. Comfort becomes dangerous when it becomes permanent because comfort zones expand into prisons. The place that feels safe today can become the place that limits you tomorrow. Let me tell you something. Everything you want is usually located just outside the boundaries of what feels comfortable. Growth feels uncomfortable. Learning feels uncomfortable. Change feels uncomfortable. Responsibility feels uncomfortable. But that's because discomfort is often evidence of growth. A muscle grows through resistance. Character grows through responsibility. Confidence grows through action. Wisdom grows through experience. You cannot become stronger while avoiding everything difficult. You cannot become extraordinary while living entirely inside comfort. The people you admire understand this. They don't love difficulty because difficulty is fun. They embrace difficulty because they understand what difficulty produces. Strength, resilience, character, wisdom, perspective. Think about the strongest people you've ever met. Not physically strong, mentally strong, emotionally strong. Were their lives easy? Usually not. Their strength came from challenges. Their wisdom came from struggles. Their confidence came from surviving things they once thought would break them. And maybe that's where some of your greatest power is hiding right now. Inside the challenge you've been complaining about. Inside the obstacle you've been avoiding. Inside the responsibility you've been postponing. What if the thing standing in your way is actually preparing your way? What if this season is building the person capable of handling the future you're asking for? Because here's a truth most people discover too late. Success without character is dangerous. Success without discipline is temporary. Successes without growth eventually collapses. That's why life often develops you before it rewards you. Life prepares you before it promotes you. Life strengthens you before it trusts you with greater opportunities. And many people misinterpret this process. They think they're being delayed, when in reality, they're being developed. Think about this for a moment. If you became everything you wanted tomorrow, would your current habits support it? Would your current discipline sustain it? Would your current mindset protect it? Or would you lose it? Because becoming successful is one challenge. Remaining successful is another challenge entirely. And that's why personal development matters so much. The greatest project you will ever work on is not your business, not your career, not your bank account, not your social status. The greatest project you will ever work on is yourself. Because everything improves when you improve. Relationships improve, income improves, decisions improve, opportunities improve, confidence improves, life improves. Not because the world changed, because you changed. And that's when something remarkable begins happening. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances. You start seeing yourself as the architect of your future. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You stop waiting for rescue because you realize that the person you've been waiting for has been staring back at you in the mirror this entire time. And once a human being truly understands that, once they stop blaming, once they stop complaining, once they stop surrendering their power to conditions, once they begin taking ownership of their choices, their habits, their attitude, their growth, something extraordinary begins to awaken inside them. A force that was always there, a potential that was always there, a future that was always there. And the moment that awakening begins, they start noticing things they never noticed before. They start realizing how many dreams were abandoned, not because they were impossible, but because they stopped believing before the results arrived. And that is why this moment matters. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions improve, not when you finally feel ready, this moment right now. Because somewhere in the future, there is a version of you watching this moment unfold. A stronger you, a wiser you, a healthier you, a more disciplined you, a more confident you, a more successful you. And that future version of you is silently hoping that today is the day you finally decide. The day you stop doubting yourself, the day you stop negotiating with your excuses, the day you stop waiting for motivation, the day you stop surrendering your future to procrastination, the day you finally become serious about your life, think about this. 5 years from now, you will arrive. The future is coming whether you prepare for it or not. The question is not whether time will pass. The question is who you will become while it passes. Will you become stronger or weaker, more valuable or more distracted, more disciplined or more comfortable, more courageous or more afraid? Because every day you are casting votes for the person you are becoming. Every choice matters, every habit matters, every hour matters, every decision matters. And one day, all of those decisions gather together and introduce you to your future. That future will not be an accident. It will be the result of what you repeatedly chose. I want you to remember something for the rest of your life. You were not born merely to exist. You were not born merely to survive. You were not born to spend your entire life wondering what could have been. There is greatness inside you that has not yet been expressed. There are talents inside you that have not yet been developed. There is courage inside you that has not yet been tested. There is a life inside you that has not yet been fully lived. Do not die with that life still trapped inside you. Do not reach the end of your journey carrying dreams that never became reality. Do not allow fear to write your story. Do not allow comfort to steal your destiny. Do not allow average thinking to limit an extraordinary future. You owe yourself more than that. You owe your family more than that. You owe your future more than that. And most importantly, you owe your potential more than that. The world does not need another person making excuses. The world needs people who take responsibility. People who keep their promises. People who continue when it's hard. People who show up when nobody is watching. People who choose discipline over convenience. People who choose growth over comfort. People who choose purpose over distraction. Because those are the people who change their lives. Those are the people who change generations. Those are the people who leave a mark long after they are gone. So when this speech ends, when the music fades, when the screen goes dark, when nobody is cheering, when nobody is watching, that is when your real life begins. That is when your future is decided. Not by what inspired you, but by what you do next. One decision, one habit, one action, one promise kept one step forward, and then another, and another, and another. Until one day, you look in the mirror and realize that the person staring back at you is no longer the person who started this journey. You became stronger, you became wiser, you became disciplined. You became relentless. You became the person you once dreamed of becoming. And when 2027 arrives, do not greet it with hope alone. Greet it with evidence. Evidence of the books you read. Evidence of the habits you built. Evidence of the sacrifices you made. Evidence of the discipline you practiced. Evidence of the growth you earned. Evidence that you refuse to stay the same. Because your future is not waiting for you to believe in it. Your future is waiting for you to build it. Starting today, starting now, this is your time. This is your moment. This is your life. And the next chapter is waiting for your decision.